Welcome. Oops. Hi, welcome to the 2021 World Brain Mapping Congress. We welcome you, whether you are in person or virtually attending. So as you may probably know, we are one of the first organizations to decide and shut down and postpone our annual Congress meeting back in March of 2020. And it was even just before that the WHO has declared a pandemic. And of course, it was not really an easy decision for us. And indeed, this pandemic really hit hard on us, all financially and also physically and emotionally. And also at the same time, this pandemic has forced us to rethink our life perspectives, and as well as our weaknesses and strengths. And despite this hardship and uncertainty, we continue to strive as a group and push the boundaries of science and technologies. And in fact, that we published last year one of the most comprehensive review articles on COVID-19 and hold many seminars, try to educate about COVID and on its effect on the brain and the mind. And as you can see from the vaccine development, we really believe that solid science and medicine will defeat this pandemic soon. And we are very, very proud that, to the best of our knowledge, today we are the first in-person major medical convention in the state of California. And of course, the safety of our attendees and the speakers and the staff are of prime importance for us. So we probably may have seen in the registration desk that we are actually following very strict COVID safety and preventative measures. So most importantly, so mask wearing is actually optional only if you are fully vaccinated. And those vaccines should be from WHO or FDA approved. And if not partially vaccinated or not vaccinated, then we really require you to submit COVID negative result for the past 72 hours. So this is our very strict protocol, and we did this because we really want you to be safe and healthy. And so as you can see from our program, you will see that we have over 900 speakers in 9 to 10 breakout sessions, and covering wide ranges of topics that's including Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, brain tumors, spinal disorders, and neuroophthalmology, neurooptometry, and neurotrauma, military medicine, neuropsychiatric disorders, and neurophysiology as well. So, so in this Congress, we have 10 renowned keynote speakers. That's including the Honorable Congressman Robert Khanna, which he will be speaking soon. And this great program is made possible only because of the generous support and contribution by our sponsors. So on behalf of all the SBMT boards and the members, I would like to thank all the sponsors of this year's Congress. That's including Fulgent Diagnostic, Chopra Foundation, Cellularity, Mind-Eye Institute, Applied Neurosciences, Medtronic, Autofix, Legally Mine, and Inspectora Thermal Solutions, Telethon France, Olympus Medical, and more. Thank you. And with that, I would like to introduce the next speaker, Dr. Bala Katel.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the 18th Annual World Congress of Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutics. Congratulations to all of you who, on the healthcare side, conquered the COVID-19 with vaccination and physical distancing, but also with patience and true intellect. I want to also congratulate the U.S. government in general for executing the vaccination from end to end perfectly, and also want to thank our sponsors, especially Fulgent Deepak Foundation and Deepak Chopra Foundation, and also Cellularity, as well as other organizations. We are living in a very critical time in our life, that we are faced with the campaign of misinformation and disinformation. So we have tried to do our best to develop protocols and guidelines for COVID-19 based on solid science and based on data from CDC and data from NIH and WHO. But on top of that, thanks to our task force, COVID-19 task force, we have reviewed hundreds of protocols and developed truly a pioneering protocol. So we thank Dr. Vicky Yamamoto, who's chairing the task force, for her amazing work. I also, thank you. So because of that, I'm assuring you here for safety and looking forward to amazing series of lectures. And the other protocol that we had to go through, unfortunately, which is a sign of time, is mass casualty protocol. So yesterday we went over a drill with our staff to be prepared for mass casualty. And again, part of our future conferences will be preparedness for COVID-19 type infections, and also safety in terms of, kind of a mass casualty. Having said that, I would like to, again, thank our keynotes, including Dr. Deepak Chopra and the Honorable Khanna, who will be speaking soon. And also wanted to mention that one of our policy announcements will be a formation of what's called Brain Technology Innovation Park. We have put this convention together for a purpose. The purpose of this convention not only is to educate top scientists and surgeons, but also educate public about the pioneering work being done at the cellular level and at the imaging level, and also fast-track therapeutics and diagnostics. With that, it's a great honor and pleasure to introduce Dr. Deepak Chopra. He's one of my fantastic colleagues and collaborators. We are delighted to partner with the Chopra Foundation on neuroscience research and mental health. Dr. Chopra.
Thank you, Babak. It's a big honor, great privilege to be with you here. And I just want to say a few insights that, I'm talking to experts here, so there's nothing new I can say. But why brain mapping is coming to age now with neurotechnology is that every experience can be mapped out. There's no experience that can't be mapped out right now. As I'm speaking to you, your frontal cortex is being activated, and genes are being activated, and there's a lot going on. And now it's possible to measure every single experience, whether it's sensory experience, perceptual experience, cognitive experience, every thought, every sensation, every image. And so what does this do? I mean, just knowing that I'm engaging with my reptilian brain or my emotional brain or my intellectual brain or my ego brain, I can start to neuroregulate my biology. And since this is the central computer everywhere, you can neuroregulate just about anything with the future of brain mapping. and then the technologies that will come through it. So that's been my interest all my life, last 40 years, but only now with the new technologies, which include not only brain mapping, but VR, augmented reality, bioregulation. One of the projects we're doing is actually taking a 10-second video of somebody speaking. You could take a 10-second video. You could look at facial micro-expressions, tone of voice, eye movements, body language, gestures, and correlate that with algorithms for just about everything. Heart rate variability, breathing patterns, skin resistance, electrodermal responses, vagal stimulation, and even microbiome, what's happening in the gut microbiome, inflammatory markers. And with these correlations, I think in the next few years, you would be able to take a selfie instead of a selfie and make a diagnosis and even a prognosis, and even an immediate intervention through technology, through VR, for example, or augmented reality. So the brain is, of course, created by our genes, but it's sculpted by experience. And right now, everybody agrees that less than 5% of disease-related gene mutations are fully penetrant, which means they guarantee the disease. Somebody has a BRCA gene or certain type of brain tumors which guarantee a disease. That's only 5%. The rest are related to things like sleep, stress management, exercise, mind-body coordination, nutrition, emotions, biological rhythms, connection with nature, etc. So as we see this technology embarking, I think we are seeing a new era of therapeutics as well, not just for brain diseases and Alzheimer's and chronic brain disorders and genetic disorders, but also everything else that's connected to chronic illness. All the meta-analysis right now is showing that chronic disease is preceded by at least a decade of low-grade inflammation and low-grade anxiety, low-grade depression, which people don't even know what the cause is. But by being able to map these areas of the brain connected with inflammation, anxiety, depression, we'll be able to predict the future. So I think the future is predictable, precise, preventable, even reversible, but it's a process and it requires everyone's participation. Hence the importance of this idea that Babak has, which is an amazing idea, to create a theme park looking at the brain, because the human brain is the most complex organ in the universe. And by tapping into its potentialities, not only for us personally, but collectively, we could hope to map out what the brains are that are needed to create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world. So congratulations, Babak, and thank you for having me. So it's my great pleasure to invite Congressman Khanna to say a few words. He's a big champion of technology, and he was under President Obama, the Chief Technology Officer at the White House. And we need supporters like Khanna to take us to the next level. Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you, Dr. Chopra. I'm a big admirer of you. I've been from a very young age one of the most profound voices in terms of understanding the mind, the body, the soul, and the interconnection, and working for improving the well-being of people in America and the well-being of people across the world, and pushing for a world with more harmony and peace. So thank you for your leadership, your vision. Thank you to Babak, Dr. Babak, for his incredible vision and leadership. I saw him in LA last night. I had to get back to DC, so otherwise I would have joined you in person. But I was greatly honored by the award as a health pioneer, an award you have given to Nancy Pelosi and Ted Kennedy. So I'm not in that company, but I appreciate the recognition for my work on Endless Frontiers. Endless Frontiers is legislation that has passed the Senate 68 to 32. We will pass it in the House this fall, and it will mark the greatest increase in science and technology investment this federal government has made since the 1960s, $100 billion of increased investment. We will be using some of that investment for neuroscience, for advances in AI that can help us understand how the brain works, how we model perception, how we process information. Josh Tenenbaum at MIT has told me that, you know, when a child processes, understands what a dog is, he or she doesn't look at thousands of images of dogs. They are able to, with a few images, to understand what a dog is. And that's because of the incredibly complex way that the human mind processes time, space, other categories of perception. And we have to invest in understanding exactly how the human mind works, and then understanding how we can improve well-being. You have done such incredible work, your organization, in treating post-traumatic stress disorder and treating our veterans and understanding the psychological issues that they face. And just think about the possibilities as we expand this research, as we expand opportunities for understanding the brain and therapies that can improve our well-being and understand what causes rage, what causes imbalance, what causes unhappiness, and how we can better address that. It can open up such a possibility for a more meaningful, peaceful society and life. And that's why I'm so committed to this kind of research. I also love Babak's vision of a brain park, a brain institute that concentrates all of the incredible research in one place and collaborates on that. That kind of focused institution could really make advances in unlocking the mysteries of our mind, which we know more about today, the brain, than we ever have in our history. So that's incredibly important, and I look forward to working with all of you to support such an initiative and to have that be a model for our country. So let me just thank everyone again for your work on advancing our knowledge of human perception, of human comprehension, for helping us treat our veterans, and for helping improve well-being. I can think of no more noble calling, and I'm proud to work with you and honored to have received your award. Thank you very much.
Great pleasure to introduce you to my colleague and as 17th president of Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutic, a true pioneer in the field of stem cell, and a neurosurgeon, a scientist, serial entrepreneur, and amazing visionary individual, I would say, all around, as well as a veteran. So Bob Harvey was injured in Iraq. He was a neurosurgeon in the United States Armed Forces, and he has a stellar background in science, but as a person, Dr. Bob Harvey is inspiration to me. So it's a great honor to have Dr. Bob Harvey to give a talk here. Bob?
Thanks, Babak. And thank you very much, Babak. And the reality is that Babak happens to be the one with the real combat experience as a supporter of military through civilian activities and so on. We've seen a lot of the same locales. But it's an honor to be here, a privilege to follow Dr. Deepak Chopra, someone that I've admired for a tremendous amount of time. I want to give thanks to Vicky Yamamoto, my successor, Dr. Cormier, who's here, my predecessor, Dr. Abdul Raf, and I'd like to speak to you a bit about why I think this is so important and so special. First and foremost, Dr. Kitab engenders both inspiration, engagement, and intellect, and he has, in many ways, personified what this society actually does, which is to bring to the front light all of the technological advances that are meaningful in improving brain health, the quality of life for those who suffer from brain disease and brain injuries, and he is a remarkable engager and associator. That's why, as you can imagine, you'll see a very diverse population of folks here. What I would like to say is that the engagement of a legislator like Congressman Khanna is an example of how important it is to bring people who share goals and objectives and interests, but who are willing to also put their professional interests on the line in order to advance things. There's nothing like taking an opportunity to build something like the Brain Park and the Brain Institute that can actually help shape the future of neuroscience and help deliver technologies and interactions and collaborations between neurologists, neurosurgeons, neuroscientists. So I want to salute and thank Dr. Kitab, and I think on behalf of everyone, none of us would be here, and the advances you'll be seeing over the next decades in large part are due to his efforts. I believe that the Society for Brain Mapping and Therapeutics is very, very unique. It is not only interested in discrete, what we used to call bench science. It's interested in clinical science. It's interested in allied technologies. It is helping to drive and shape the future of relationships with policymakers like the esteemed Congressman. But I also believe that it is going to dramatically improve the relationships with industry. And that's where guys like me come in. So I believe, and Dr. Kitab, would you like me to continue right into my keynote?
We'll have a break and then we'll start that. But let me introduce Dr. Cormier and then get a break and we'll start.
That's wonderful. So again, before Dr. Cormier gets his chance to speak, I just want to, again, thank the Society for allowing me to participate. I feel a little bit like that Pope who only served a matter of days, because shortly after assuming the position, the COVID outbreak really hampered my ability to make much of a contribution. But I was very fortunate to work remotely and virtually with many of the members of the Society, and a great deal was accomplished. So with that, I'm going to turn the stage back to Dr. Kitab so that he can introduce my successor.
Well, I think Dr. Hariri is modest. During the COVID-19, we delivered near 700 meals at the middle of curfew to frontline workers and local hospitals. We delivered several truckload of PPE to local hospitals who were suffering from lack of N95 mask, and that was under the presidency of Bob Harvey and his commanding leadership. On top of that, Bob got an FDA approval for a clinical trial for COVID-19. So, and then we went on to support Proposition 14, which now is past $5.5 billion for stem cell, 1.5 billion for neuroscience. So, yeah, congratulations, Dr. Harvey. That's a stellar record of leadership. So our board of directors are just truly pioneers in the field, including our Nobel laureate, Eric Kandel, who could not be here and send his regards. With that, I would like to move on to another stellar neurosurgeon and a leader, Dr. Jason Cormier, who is our 18th president of SBMT, and he is truly a visionary neurosurgeon and a great leader. He will tell us about his vision of the future of the organization and the directions that we will be taking. Dr. Cormier, please.
Thank you, Babak. I appreciate it. I want to say hello to all the many people that are tuning in. This is truly an honor to be the next president of this great society. Certainly Bob Harvey's done a lot, really some big shoes to fill, no doubt. But there's a lot of help in this and a lot of passion in this organization. You know, the proposition that Babak mentioned earlier, the Brain Technology and Innovation Initiative has a lot. It's going to provide money in for research for neuroscience, things like Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's, and things that we really haven't scratched the surface, in my opinion. But those collaborative efforts internationally with a number of organizations that we interact with are going to help further this journey that has been rather complex over these last several months or years with the pandemic. Under Bob's leadership, certainly this was, to many would be insurmountable, a very complicated era that we've entered. Now we're doing more Zoom, not much in the way of personal types of relationships or conferences. And so it's really a breath of fresh air to be able to be here in front of many of you that are here and launching this as the first in-person conference, big conference, international conference, where we can finally shake hands and really truly fellowship. There's nothing like the handshake that has returned. As a neurosurgeon, like Bob Harvey and a number of us here, we're scientists, and what we live for is to dissect and to improve and modernize technology. Cellularity certainly is a company that has moved the label with that as part of the FDA. I can tell you that you know, the FDA continues to invite the scholarship and networking, and that only goes through collaborative efforts, which has been the passion that Babak has truly put forth in this organization. I'm very proud to be the next president. It's certainly, again, some big shoes to fill, but many of the 20 subcommittees that continue timeless hours, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm looking at just a lot of chatter over the network. There's truly a lot that goes into this, and my vision is to continue to provide those collaborative efforts to push policy in medicine and neuroscience so that we can get more and more answers to try to solve the complexities that have just scorned you know, this global network of patients for so many years. So I'm looking forward to this conference. Very excited to be part of this organization. It goes without saying being the president this year, and thank you for your support.
Thank you very much, Dr. Cormier. So with that, we're going to go to a short break, and then we start Professor Harvey's lecture keynote. Thank you.